San Francisco. The cause is under investigation. Rick Damigella has more.
Evacuations are underway in Northern California as a wildfire continues to grow in San Joaquin County. More than 12,000 acres have been burned since the fire started Saturday afternoon.
Our temperatures have dropped and our relative humidity has gone up, which is allowing firefighters to really engage, being aggressive and putting good containment lines on the ground and trying to get the upper hand on this fast-moving fire.
The Corral fire began in the city of Tracy, according to officials. Area officials had recently warned that gusty winds, hotter temperatures, and dried-out grass could create dangerous fire-conducive conditions.
Crews are in there right now with heavy equipment, bulldozers. They're putting in direct containment line, and that's being backed up by firefighters on the ground.
2 Alameda County firefighters were injured while responding to the fire. They had minor to moderate injuries and were transported to a local hospital for evaluation and treatment. The Cal Department of Transportation has closed a section of the Interstate 580 due to smoke and little visibility. The fire could spread further thanks to gusty winds and excessive heat. Temperatures are forecasted to reach into the triple digits in the upcoming week, and all outdoor residential burning is suspended. I'm Rick Damigella reporting.
And there's a risk of severe weather today in several parts of the country. The greatest risk is portions of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, as well as portions of Illinois and also Wisconsin. Strong winds, heavy rain, hail, and even an isolated tornado are all possible here. Areas of southern Texas to Michigan are at a slightly lower risk. Tornadoes can be terrifying with all the destruction left behind and, of course, sometimes loss of life. That's what happened in northern Arkansas just early last week when a thunderstorm produced 15 tornadoes and killed several people. Meteorologist Barry Brand explains why a plan is needed ahead of time to increase your chances of survival.
If you take proper precautions, I'd say that a lot of tornadoes, except the worst ones, are survivable. In case in point, one house up in northern Arkansas, this is the before photo, this is the after photo. It was struck by a tornado. And one thing you'll notice that on this side of the house where the garage was, well, that structure is gone. Garage doors fail very rapidly, and they can produce considerable damage when the garage door does fail. The front of the house, taken off. Exterior walls are frequently taken off a house. But if you get in to an interior spot in the lowest floor of the house, as this family did, you can survive it. And they did survive this. Have a plan to go to the lowest floor, the most interior spot in your house, away from exterior walls and windows. Put that plan in place, and most tornadoes, even stronger ones, are survivable.
Summer has all sorts of start date. Meteorological summer started on Saturday, but there's another summer that is weeks away. Meteorologist Mike Susko tells us all about the other facts of the season.
Well, the summer season has started, at least meteorologically speaking here, because June 1st is the first day of meteorological summer, but not astronomical summer that we're all used to. In fact, astronomical summer this year is going to be June 20th through the 22nd, and it's based on the Earth's position relative to the sun. This is one of the big differences. The dates may change a bit based on the year. Some years it's June 20th, some years it's June 21st, maybe June 22nd for the first day of summer. But meteorological summer does not change. It's June 1st through August 31st every year, no matter what. It's based on temperature cycles, and it's easier for statistics. The dates, again, will not change based on which year it is here. But the seasons for summer solstice, the first day of summer, again, is right around June 21st, give or take a day or so. Again, it can change depending on the year. It's when the sun is directly over the Tropic of Cancer, which is the line that you can see here in the northern hemisphere. Long days in the northern hemisphere, shorter days in the southern hemisphere. And in the wintertime, it will flip for us here. We will end up getting the shorter days while the southern hemisphere ends up getting the longer days, at least for the wintertime in our hemisphere. The amount of daylight, you can see Arctic Circle, 24 hours, Tropic of Cancer, right around 13.5. The equator's 12, and how it goes down the farther you go south with the Antarctic Circle being at 0 hours, meaning it's complete darkness all day and all night down in the Antarctic Circle.
And when it comes to temperature, things look very different for folks on the east and, of course, the west coast. Theron Zahn explains why.
The National Weather Service is out with its newest temperature outlook for the next several weeks, and depending on what part of the country you're in, you're going to feel some very different conditions. Out west, temperatures 70 to 80% chance of above normal temperatures, moving eastward to parts of the Midwest and even close to the East Coast. These areas, shaded in gray, are going to feel temperatures most likely below normal for the start of June. So as we move closer to summertime, a very big difference on temperatures depending on what part of the country you're in.
And now that June is here and temperatures are starting to warm up, meteorologist Caroline Cohen explains why we should take note of UV index when we are out and about.
It's important to always be aware of the UV index, but especially now as we gear up for summer. Many people will be spending more time outside and in the sunshine. UV index is a measurement of the sunburn-producing UV radiation. It helps us to prepare to go outside and stay protected. The measurement goes from low to very high. A very high UV means you can burn in a quicker amount of time. Regardless of the UV, make sure to always stay protected.
And clouds provide some of the planet's best animation. Meteorologist Dante Ricky explains how one unique type of cloud forms.
Cloud shapes can sometimes tell a unique story about the ongoing weather pattern. These are undulatus clouds. They look like little slices or cuts, anywhere from 8,000 to 43,000 feet high in the sky. The word undula is Latin for wave, and in particular, we can see gravity waves in our environment. You look for locations where the temperature increases with height. These circled regions in the sky above, well, those are called temperature inversions, and they often indicate that a warm front is on the way in from the south. You can even see gravity waves on satellites sometimes as these little lines within the clouds, and often they indicate good, stable weather within a location. The reason for the formation of undulatus clouds is warm air lower to the ground and even warmer air higher up into the sky. In addition, that creates an up and down cycle or movement of air, which can only go so far downward into that inversion. That allows the waves to travel a good distance outward, perpendicular to the wind direction. And as long as that distance continues perpendicular, they won't weaken. These clouds resemble little wave-like ripples, similar to when you drop a pebble into a pond outside, or if you're on the beach watching the waves crash into the ocean and dissipate towards you. It's a reminder that Earth's atmosphere can behave just as much of a fluid as a large body of water can as well.
And check this out, California's Clear Lake isn't so clear. The satellite image from NASA shows that it's actually more green. Water researchers say the green color is a result of spring algae bloom and that the green algae is also important to the ecosystem. However, the bloom may also contain blue-green algae, and some blue-green algae can produce a toxin that can irritate the skin and cause liver and kidney damage. And if you're looking for great weather content, be sure to check us out on social media. We're on all of your favorite platforms, and we post the latest from our team of meteorologists across the country. Just search the National Weather Desk. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, eastern Iowa has had enough rainfall recently to help ease drought conditions, but there are some downsides we're going to explain. And with summer fast approaching, we'll share tips to keep you safe in the heat.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munnin. Let's look at the Northeast as we head through the day on Monday. We are going to see a good amount of sunshine to start, but then notice as we head through the afternoon, a couple clouds, a couple showers possible as we will see some daytime heating. And then as we head through the day on Tuesday, a little bit of fog possible near and along the coastline. And then we are going to see the sunshine develop once again as we get a look at the high temperatures for the daytime today, 70s and 80s for many across the area.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Bailey. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Your Monday starts out with a couple lingering showers, mainly to the south of the Baltimore region. They're going to be pushing out, but as we get into your Monday afternoon, it's looking mostly dry. We'll keep a small chance for a stray sprinkle, but really we're going to be looking at fairly dry conditions. Tuesday, we could see 1 or 2 showers out there, fairly isolated. Our temperatures will be likely hitting the 80s as we move through your Monday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, still in the mid-80s.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. Here's a look at our afternoon highs today. Most of us hanging out in the mid-80s. Asheville is always our exception in the low 80s. Once we get into the central Florida area, Panhandle as well will be in the low 90s. A few showers here and there for most of us, mostly along our sea breeze boundaries. You can see that dramatic push in of those clouds. That'll be around this evening. We're also seeing a little bit of a boundary push through the southeast, through Mississippi and Alabama. Isolated showers continue Tuesday.
Eastern Iowa has had enough rainfall to send drought conditions packing, but there are some downsides as well. Meteorologist Garrett Hyde explains.
In just 3 months, we have gone from 84% of the state under drought conditions to just 0. This has been in large part due to the large amount of rain we've received over this past spring. Areas in eastern Iowa have picked up anywhere from about 1.5 inches to nearly 6.25 inches of rain since March 1st.
This helped a lot of our stream flows restore our groundwater. This helps restore ponds for livestock and ponds that are used for irrigation. Those are all good things. But on the flip side, when we are having enough rainfall that is eliminating these droughts, that also means we are often going to see areas of ponding or pose a problem for having those workable days to do field work.
And those workable field days have slowed progress a bit across the state. Since late April, when crop planting was ahead of schedule, we have seen our crop progress fall behind throughout this month. Fortunately, we're not too far behind just quite yet, but we are getting to the point where farmers will have to decide whether or not they'll need to replant any areas that were damaged by standing water or change a strand of corn. But as we leave the optimal planting window, the maximum yield a farmer will be able to harvest before the fall frost will rapidly decline. We'll have to wait and see if the consistent rains will continue through the rest of the summer. Otherwise, the root depths for some of our crops may be too shallow to handle another dry stretch of weather throughout the summer months.
Water levels at Lake Tahoe are higher than usual, which means some of the water is going to have to go. That's good news for the watershed and for folks downstream. Meteorologist Matt Monroe explains.
Now, this serves as an immense watershed. About 500 square miles of land feed in the Lake Tahoe. And after the past couple of bonanza winters, this is now actually about 3 or 4 feet above full pool. So how do we get water out of the lake? Right here. This is actually the Lake Tahoe Dam. I took this video myself, and each of those sluice gates can let the water out. We have one open right now. There are up to 17 sluice gates that can eventually lower the lake level, and that's actually the start of the Truckee River. It goes from here about 63 miles downstream to towns like Reno and Sparks, Nevada, and provides those towns with 85% of their usable water. So we like to have a lot of water in the lake to let some of this water out, but this year it looks like a lot of water is going to come through those sluice gates.
And often when we see rain in the forecast, we assume we have to change our outdoor plans, but meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael explains why that is not the case.
What is up, everyone? Look at all the green we've got outside right now. We're heading into the start of summer, which also means we're going to have more heat, humidity, and a chance for some scattered showers and storms, not only here in Central Ohio, but all across the country. Take a look at one of the recent 7-day forecasts we had here in Central Ohio. There's a chance of rain every single day. And you might be thinking to yourself, man, what am I going to do? I have plans. I want to go to the pool, do some stuff. Don't cancel those plans because the chance of rain is not 100% chance and it's not going to last all day long. Matter of fact, I want to break down the first 3 days. This is a map of how much rain we expected to see over those first 3 days. But you break it down even more. Let's dive into just the first day, hour by hour, and you can see that it's not widespread. Most of the day is dry, but there's that chance of some scattered showers and storms. And also keep in mind that just because you've got a 40, 60% chance of rain, there will likely be some rain somewhere in the area, but just not widespread for everyone. So as we head into the summer months, stay tuned to the forecast, especially the timing of the rain. You get into the heat of the afternoon, the humidity helping to fuel those thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon and evenings, but really it's possible at any given time, day or night. But as we head through the next several months, stay tuned to the forecast, especially if you have some outdoor plans, you're going to the pool or whatnot, going boating, so that way we can help time out when the rain will impact your plans.
And when it comes to predicting rain, there are a few signs in the sky that could tell you what weather is actually on the way. One such way is looking at the colors in the sky during sunrise. Meteorologist Evan Chikvera explains.
What a gorgeous sunrise here, Bullard Roofing Sky Camp. Now, there's a saying, it's red skies in morning, sailors take warning. That can be applied to really anywhere. When you start to see more of these colors, you've got a higher moisture content in the atmosphere. So with more water up there, when the sun comes up over the surface or is just below the surface, it's being refracted over with more water droplets. And you'll get these pinks, these reds, and it's usually indicative of rain within the next 24 hours. Not always, but it certainly can be.
Cicadas are out in full force in several parts of the country. These numbers are impressive, really, but so is the sound that they are making. Meteorologist Sharon Graves shows us just how loud they can be.
Well, good morning. I'm sure you've noticed the cicadas. They emerged in early May. They've been everywhere and they're loud. They're one of the loudest insects in the world. And the reason they're so loud is they have that song that they sing. And that's because they want to communicate, find mates, and possibly drive off predators. Well, when you get them all together and they're all singing, it's pretty loud. And I was kind of wondering, how loud is it? Well, I looked it up, and most periodical cicadas, those are the ones we're seeing right now, are anywhere from 80 to 100 decibels loud. That's at close range. Now, if you have trees in your yard, you're sitting on your porch and you have them there, you probably have noticed it's quite loud. So probably getting closer to that 100 decibel range. What is that compared to? Well, most cicadas, when you get them together, they sound louder than a hairdryer. And actually, when you get up to 100 decibels of sound, that's about equivalent to a lawnmower or a jackhammer. So those loud buzzing insects are going to be here for a little while longer. Now, it looks like they should be gone by the end of June, but then we see the annual cicadas coming out. So although they'll decrease a bit, they're not going to go away completely.
And as we mentioned, summer is close, but for many, the heat is already here. With that in mind, let's turn to meteorologist Donnie Cox for some tips on staying safe in hot weather.
Now that we're past Memorial Day, it means you have the official summer playbook, and for many of you all across the country, you need to factor in how to beat the heat. Avoid direct sunlight. Take those frequent breaks. If your body says it needs a break, do it, because it's very important. Drink plenty of water. No caffeine, no alcohol. Water's the best thing. Eat those smaller meals. Helps your body to cool off. Now, light-colored and loose-fitting clothing, that always helps, so be sure to remember that. Stay in the air conditioning. That's the best plan when it really gets to be hot. Protect your pets. They would like to be inside with you, so take them inside the air conditioning. Avoid that strenuous activity as well, especially in the peak heating times of the day. Better times are morning and late afternoon. I'm meteorologist Donnie Cox.
And it's not just people who are impacted by high temperatures. Your dog can be as well. Meteorologist David Glenn has more.
Hi, I'm meteorologist David Glenn. As we approach the summer months, it's very important to remember the time of day you walk your dog. Let's take, for example, temperatures in the mid-80s on an afternoon that's sort of heating up. Well, surfaces on the ground start to heat up as well. Look at the difference. Air temperature of 85 in the shade will feel about the same. But if you go into sunlit areas, those surfaces get hotter. For example, a grassy surface getting close to 95 to 100, even with an 85-degree air temperature. Look at concrete and asphalt, 140. And you got to keep this in mind. With temperatures of 120 or higher, a paw burn can occur in less than 5 minutes. But when it's like 140 on that asphalt, paws can burn at just under a minute. Veterinarians recommend walking your dog early in the morning or early in the evening where surface temperatures are cooler.
And time now for a short break, but first we soar over the desert Southwest.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. A bit unsettled for a lot of the Midwest as we go through the next several days here. High temperatures in the 80s all the way across the Midwest. A few places a little cooler in the 70s like Green Bay and Milwaukee. Tomorrow, these scattered thunderstorms just slowly drifting their way to the east, and we'll continue to see that heading into Wednesday. So by that point, more sunshine across the plains, but the scattered showers and storms across the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley for the middle part of the week.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at our forecast across the region. We'll start off in the 70s to near 80 in the morning. We'll climb into the 80s and 90s across the region today. Still watching for strong to severe storms. There's a slight risk level 2 out of 5 in the northeast Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, and southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana near Dallas and Shreveport. That's the best area to see strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. And then as we head into your Tuesday, still tracking a few showers and thunderstorms. It's more the heat that sets up across Texas.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson, and here's what's happening across the West. We've got a heat advisory extending through parts of central California, and we're expecting excessive heat warnings to come up into the Southwest at the end of the week. In the meantime, we have another atmospheric river poised to move onshore in the Pacific Northwest. Today, we've got low pressure keeping the flood watch going, showers and heavy thunderstorms, along with windy conditions. That's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
You've likely heard of the weather term cyclone. Weather describes a tropical storm or a hurricane, but what about an anticyclone? Meteorologist Evan O'Regan tells us how they differ.
Anticyclones are similar to storm systems. However, these are areas of high pressure, also known as a ridge of high pressure. These high pressure systems are areas of sinking air, which lead to nice and calm weather conditions, which of course we see all the time here in the borderland. They're also referred to as heat domes, which we also see in El Paso, particularly during the summer months. They're also much larger than your average storm system and can dominate an entire region. There's actually an anticyclone right now, a rather strong one, or a high pressure system right now to our south in Mexico. It has been bringing record-breaking heat and drought to much of the country, and this is the same system, and it's part of the reason why we're entering our first prolonged heat wave of the year, as we're expected to see some ridging caused by this anticyclone, and this will likely bring us multiple triple-digit days going into next week.
And looking for more great weather content, check us out on social media. We are on all of your favorite platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela.